It is April 20th, 2023, and we are live. Welcome back, everyone, to the SouthPoint Podcast. This is episode number 51. My name is Carlos Tello, and I'm super excited to bring you this very special episode. I almost choked on my spit right there. This very special episode. We're going to continue to spotlight the amazing people here at SouthPoint Church. And today's special guest is a guy that I wanted to get on here for quite a long time. We met not that long ago. Welcome today, my guest, Josh Carter.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Up? I am good. How are you?
I'm here today. Like, we're trying to get this thing going.
I seen you pour in the parking lot, so I know how you are.
You know, you were like, you had 3 kids. Yeah, it's like, okay, they got off the bus at 3 o'clock. It's like, okay, how quickly can we get them in the shower and dressed and ready? And especially, like, the teenage angst is coming from the oldest. You know, I'm like, just go get in the shower. What am I supposed to do? You know, I'm like, just come on. You know, it's all that. We were having fun.
That's right.
Yeah, you doing okay, though? Everything good?
I am. Everything's great. Just bought a house.
Oh.
Yep, and God has blessed us for our first ever approved to buy a house. We've found the house, down payments, everything's going in place. So probably by the mid-May, end of May, we'll be moved in.
Awesome.
That's great.
Man, that's a blessing right there.
It very much is.
For sure. Producer Katie is in the house today. How you doing, Katie?
Hey, I'm a little squirrely like you today.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's one of those days, but
You're
it's
feeling
all right.
better. Sunday you were like,
Man, those sinuses.
this allergy season right now has been
time
brutal.
we in,
Is anybody else
time we
struggling
in.
like me right now? And then, you know, those of y'all who have been following along, we have a puppy. He's about 7 months old now, and already have like a pet allergy. So it's just like,
Oh,
you
it's
know,
just
Earth is going, here you go.
Yeah.
And then my dog's going, let me add the cherry on top.
Yeah, I'm going to put some in there.
Yeah,
with it,
especially
Dad.
when he sleeps right here. You know,
Yes,
it's
exactly.
brutal. But we're surviving. Allergy meds on around the clock, so we're good to go.
Good deal.
But yeah, Katie, thank you for being here to make us all sound great and look great. Thank you all for joining us
Absolutely.
live right now on Facebook. Hey, if you're joining us live, be sure to throw in your questions or comments. If you have anything for Josh today, throw that question in there or a comment. If you're not joining us live immediately today, don't forget our podcast is available later on, probably tomorrow, give or take. Will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. I think Amazon as well, maybe. But
Pretty much
I'm not
wherever
sure
you listen.
I'm not sure really who uses the other podcast streams.
No.
It's usually like Apple and Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the main two
Main
guys.
two big
That's
ones,
like
yep.
Coke and Pepsi. It's like you're one or the other.
Right.
You know, or if you're Apple or Samsung, that's usually the case. Hey, marked men's conference is quickly approaching. Sign up on our website or app. Probably in the lobby as well. I think the price dropped today to $70.
Yep.
Pretty good deal. Hey, ladies out there, sign your men up. You know, just it's gonna be fun. I think I met you. I want to say that we met at the last men's conference.
We did.
Which was a couple years ago, and you were like trying to tell me some of your story, and I stopped you because I was like, no, we're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna come on the podcast. I want to get you on here, and then obviously that took a little while, but we're here now finally. But yes, strike up that men's conference sign-ups. You don't want to miss it. It's a good time. You don't know who you're going to meet. You could run into a guy like this.
That is true.
We could join a breakfast group together, which I haven't been to in quite a long time because of my work schedule.
It's been a year at least.
busted out in front of everybody. But hey, you know, work schedule changed. Now it's changed back to where I can come back to it, and
That is awesome.
so I'm gonna be coming back to that. I told Mac the other day, I'm coming back. So guys, if you're in a group, again, you can meet some incredible people. If you're not in a group, join a group. If you're not in a serve team, join our serve team. We have one of the best serve teams on the planet.
Absolutely.
This thing does not happen without everybody doing their part. And that takes, you know, making coffee, so watching some kids, keeping our people safe with security, holding the door open and say hi to somebody. It all matters, everybody.
We do have an awesome serve team.
That's right. So join our serve team if you're not doing that. This past Sunday was Baptism Sunday. If you missed it, my goodness, it was a party in the house.
It was a party in the house.
So good. Congratulations to all those who were baptized. It was an amazing service. And as well, Pastor Craig kicked off our Book of Romans series. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
It's like
Buckle up.
That's
like
more like
37 weeks in
Yeah,
that.
that's
we
more like
said.
a
I mean,
Bible
it's-
study than a
Yeah,
series.
yeah, we're going to go through this one. So, read your book, the Book of Romans, and I think there's a thing coming on the Bible app as well, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes. This Sunday, you're gonna be able to sign up for Bible studies. We're gonna have 3 different times of the week, so it's gonna be good.
And I think he said everybody will be able to comment and
Mhm.
stuff, and
Yeah.
you'll be scrolling for
Well,
days.
it's like the
hopefully.
one you're in, the one with us, right?
Yeah, I
It's just
tried to
like
be.
that.
I try to be. I'm the worst reader on the planet. I'm an audio book guy, so if it's an audio version, I do way better.
Mac is too. Mac hits play.
Yeah, that's what I need to start doing more often. Week 2 is a Sunday, 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Try to get used to those new times. So if you are coming this Sunday, bring a friend. Celebrate recovery tonight.
Woohoo!
What time? 6:30.
6:30. Next week, we start at 6. We're gonna have
Ooh.
food.
Food next week.
I don't know what we're having.
So
but it's
if you're
always
part of
good.
that group, if you're not part of that group and you need to be part of that group, then
Everyone
come
in
on.
this church, everyone in the world.
Yes, we all
could
have
be a part.
something.
I
We all
mean,
have something, and we're going to talk about that something today,
Yes.
buddy Josh. When we met, I think, like I said earlier, we were like, you try to tell me some of your story,
Mhm.
and I was like, hold on, because this is what I've kind of done with a lot of people
Yes.
around here. It's like, hold on, don't tell me all of it because I want to hear for the first time. And there's a lot of people out here that are. Might know your story, might not. I think you
Quite
did a men's
few. Yeah,
conversation.
I did a
not long
men's
ago.
conversation, and
Yeah.
I did do the worst possible testimony ever. I failed miserably at that testimony, but I'm hoping I came a little bit more prepared today. I got a little bit more detail into it, what, when, where's, all that kind of thing. I'm not going to go so much as into the darkness because there's a lot of dark guys. I was in a lot of hate. I was in a
Yeah.
very, very bad spot. I want to touch on that a little bit, and then I want to talk about these last 5 years where God has just took a hold of me and my wife and blessed us more than I could never imagine going from homeless to buying a house in less than 5 years.
That's incredible.
Yes.
If y'all are out there, yeah, that's a praise report right there if I've ever heard
I thought
one.
you were gonna start crying already.
I might, yes. Look, just getting busted out left and right on this show today.
Yes, you are.
Hey, listen, y'all know me. I'm a crybaby, and that is why I think this podcast was initially started because I wanted to give people a voice and an opportunity. And obviously, we have programs like Celebrate Recovery
Yeah.
and different things like that where people have opportunity. Tim Putt said that Miss Pam is doing her testimony tonight. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
But sometimes, like, there's not an opportunity for people to come out and talk
That is
about it
true.
and highlight things and highlight the lowlights because there is a point where you had to go through that darkness for a reason,
Yes.
so that God could bring you out, so that you could be here to tell everybody your story.
That's it.
And
And hopefully, if it'll just bring one person to church, any church, ain't gotta be SouthPoint, just a
Absolutely.
church.
absolutely,
I will be happy as I could get.
yeah, and that's what we always talk about here. Is, and Pastor Craig will tell everybody, just you don't have to come to this church. Just come to church.
Yeah.
There's a million others in DeSoto County alone.
Just turn a corner and there's
Find one. Yeah, find one. So thank you for finally. We finally got this
We did.
straightened out, so you can come on this thing. And really, when I met you, you told me you came to SouthPoint specifically. You came to this area specifically for SouthPoint. Was
I
that right?
moved here for this church, so I was in Pratava, which is just right. It was Turning Point then.
Oh yeah.
That was my second. So I started off in Oxford. We're going to skip a little bit, then we'll go back.
Yeah, you're good.
So I started off. I went to rehab December 9th, 2018. I was at the bottom. I'd already tried to commit suicide. My wife had left me. My kids wouldn't have nothing to do with me. By the way, I have 3 amazing kids that are still by my side today. I love every one of them. They have forgiven me, and we still hang out and have activities. But I tried to commit suicide. Did a bunch of dope. Tried a bunch of dope up. It didn't work. It just knocked me out. I came
Nothing could fill that void.
No, nothing. And I couldn't even manage my life. Like, it was over with. I walked into work and was just discombobulated. I walked out of work, walked home, called my daughter. I said, please give me a ride to the house. She did. I got home. I had a big bag of dope, and I was like, look, I'm over it. I'm done. I can't do this no more. So I tried to commit suicide. It didn't work. I woke up. I called my wife. I said, look, I need help. I said, if I can get into a rehab tonight, will you come get me? She was 3 hours away from me, y'all. I did get into a rehab. I wish I could remember his name for nothing in this world.
That's all right.
But he got me into Oxford Treatment Center, and she came from West Tennessee to Middle Tennessee, and we drove from Middle Tennessee to Oxford that night. And I have a seizure I have a seizure disorder, so I probably had 20 to 30 seizures that night. On the way there, I was having hallucinations. It was bad, and they got me there, and I was seizuring back to back to back, and they're like, "No, we're gonna have to induce him into a coma until this stops." And my wife's like, "Look, y'all just let him chill. He'll stop. He'll stop. He'll stop." So finally, yes, I did stop. They put enough that they was trying to give me medicine that was counteracting with medicine I already took, and she finally had to, y'all quit giving him that stuff and just let him come out of it, and he'll be okay. And I did. I came out of it, had no clue where I was, didn't know what was going on. It took about a 30-minute gap there, and then when I came back to, and then they put me into a 7-day detox, and then that's whenever I started.
How bad was that?
That was pretty bad. The first night I was there, I was sitting on a bunk and seen it looked like Garfield, except it was like 19 different colors of Garfield.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it was sitting on a dresser, and it was pulling my clothes through the wall to the point where I left my room, went into the room of another girl. It was a girl's room, and went through her stuff looking for a hoodie that I didn't even bring.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was night one.
That was night one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And then I was known as a weird dude.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just me. On top of all that, that's the weird guy.
Yeah. But that was 20 years of addiction. So I smoked my first joint when I was 15 years old on a creek bank with some friends. I had a really, really good life. My grandparents owned some land, had a great mom and dad. We farmed. I showed horses. We had cows. I mean, we were spoiled kids. We got anything we wanted. Okay. So there was no excuse for me to have to be looking to fill a void. I didn't have that void. Well, around the age of 14, my grandparents divorced. So when they divorced, it went from me being with my grandfather all the time to just here and there. Okay, so after that, my mom and my dad divorced. This is about 2 years later.
Okay.
So I was already smoking. I was smoking pot, and I was snorting cocaine pretty good.
At what age?
16.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we was into all of that. We was trying to sell some drugs just to make some drugs. We wasn't trying to make no money. We just trying to stay high all the time. My mom went into addiction with me. My mom died several years ago. But
sorry about that.
So I mean, I was getting high with my mom. It was like a big old party fest. We had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath trailer that we just had people everywhere. If you want to party, that's where you came to. We lived in a little bitty small town, and it was awful. It was truly awful. So went through that. Ended up meeting my first wife. She got pregnant, had my first son, Shane. And I thought in the hospital, whenever he was born, I looked at my dad and I said, I'll never do another drug in my life. I said, this is so amazing. Because just the sight of birth is amazing. Seeing your son come into this world as an act of God, it is amazing.
Yeah, they don't call it the miracle of birth.
No, and it lasted for about 20 days. And then we were back smoking crack again. And then she got pregnant again with my second son, Gage. And I did it again. I was like, there's no way I'm going to raise these boys. So you
just kept thinking that this is going to fix the problem.
This will do it. He's here. This will do it. And I did. I stayed sober for a little bit that time, but it was only a couple of months. I never could. If I would have left the area, I might could have did better.
Yeah.
But I was in the same area, little bitty small town. Everybody knew.
Running with the same crew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, everybody knew who it was. We owned a restaurant in that town, and it was one of the biggest at the time in that town, and her business was outstanding. So everybody knew who we was.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get away from that. So about, let's say, my son was born. Actually, I didn't even get to see my second son born. Let me back that up. I was locked up for 2 counts of first-degree attempted murder. My first son was about 16 months old, and I got locked up in January of 2000. My son was born February 2000. They offered to carry me down there in shackles, and I said, there ain't no way in some words that my son's going to see me arms and shackles. So I didn't go, but they did allow, once she was released from the hospital, to come, and the first time I held my son was behind bars. We was in a changing room where they did work release. They'd bring them in, strip them down, and that's the first time I held my son.
In prison.
In prison. Well, actually, I was in county jail.
County jail. Yeah.
So I sat in there and I prayed, we'd read the Bible, and I was like, man, if I can get out of this right here. And I was looking at it a bunch of time. I mean,
was church a thing at all? I mean, you said you had a good home kind of growing up.
My grandmother, yes. My grandmother, we went to some revivals, but as far as a steady church, no.
Okay, so you're praying out of just like, well, this is what I think I should do.
Yeah, exactly. This is. You got jail ministers. I mean, you got all kind of.
That's an incredible ministry as well. I mean,
awesome.
Praise those who
them guys do that. Spare their time. They come down there. They talk to these men, and most of them don't even want to hear it. No, most of them don't. They want you there just so they can get out of their cell or do this or do that. Yeah. It's not for the message, but a couple of them.
I've heard it 1,000 times. I don't need it. I already know the spiel. Yeah.
And so I did take a hold of some of it, and I thought, if I stick with this, if I can get with this, this will do it. So I read the Bible. I prayed and prayed and prayed. Well, in county jail, county jail. You ain't getting nothing. We got fed twice a day, and that was it. 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock at night. That was it. No more food. You got 1 cup of coffee in the morning, 1 cup of tea in the afternoon. Other than that, it was some sink water. No commissary, no nothing. So it was rough. I ended up not staying there, but about 90 days, I got on what was called a post-plea diversion, which was a miracle in itself. I should have went to prison for about 30 years. That lasted about, I think I was out less than a year. Ended up with 2 armed robbery charges, and then they sent me to penitentiary. I went in front of the judge for my first sentencing, and he was like, with your past, we're going to add your past with your present, and we're going to add them together, and it's going to be 33 years. And I looked at my lawyer and I said, "There's no way that's going to happen." And so they said, "No, we're not. We're going to come back." I said, "We're going to reconvene in a month, and we'll see what you take then." So we did that. I went back down, waited a month, came back up. The second offer, it went up. They doubled it. It went to 66 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And I told my lawyer, I said, "I'll go to trial. They can give me life." I said, 66 years is life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
So somewhere
at that point in time, you just become. I mean, the term is institutionalized. You don't know nothing else.
No, it was. I would have been, and I was when I got home. I was very habit forming. I did the same thing the same way every day, and it was just. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my phone, guys. I've got questions from my family as well. And it was a different life. So I ended up, again, God's miracle grace, I ended up getting a 13-year sentence sent off. That was 13 years at 13 years at 30%, but I ended up doing 10 years and 9 months on it. Okay, so when I get in and I get to prison,
that's a long time.
Wait, so you went from 66 years to
10.
To 10.
10 and some change.
13.
Almost 11 years.
13.
Well, you
13.
Yeah,
I was sentenced to 13 years.
And you only served just under 11.
10 years.
That's
and 9
still a long
months.
time.
It is.
When you have your boys out there, I mean, they're already.
First few years, I seen them every Saturday. Me and their mom, we were on pretty good terms for the first few years, and then after she was like, you're staying. I was staying in trouble all the time. I was already ganged up. I was in a gang, and I wasn't going lower in the gang. I was rising in a gang. I was already where I run a compound, so I was the president of a compound. If people in church, they seen my cardboard flip out the other day. I was in the brotherhood.
Yeah.
By the time my prison sentence was over with, I was the number one guy in Tennessee over Aryan Brotherhood. So we were calling shots all the way across the prisons. It was dark. So I get out. My wife now, she comes and gets me. I get out on April of something, and before August hit, I was locked back up with three more armed robberies.
Okay, so what's your mindset going back to doing that again? Is it just you want to get back in?
I didn't know what to do.
You didn't know what to do. You said
because
you said every time you got out, you were still in the same routine, basically, right?
Yep.
Man, that's rough.
And the 90 days I was out, all I was doing was chasing drugs. How could I get high? How could I get high? It wouldn't, how can I fix my life? Because I really didn't have. My mom had a trailer. The girl I was with, she was 3.5 hours away, so I seen her on Saturday and Sunday. And when she got off work Friday, she drove down. She was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, woke up Monday and drove back to work. When she was with me, I had a good life.
Yeah.
Them days that she was not with me, I was running around chasing dope. I got a hold of a bunch of Xanaxes, took a handful of Xanaxes one night. A guy gave to me, ended up getting in a car, robbed 3 stores back to back, and when they caught me within 15 minutes, and it was right back. I mean, it wasn't no talking, no nothing. Went to court, they offered me a life sentence. Said, you just got out, and on all your other charges, we're going to give you life.
Because you're on probation.
Yep.
Right when you get out.
Yep. No, I flattened. I was not on no probation.
Oh, okay.
I did my whole sentence. They would never.
Oh, okay. So you were good. Okay.
Yeah. So they offered a life sentence, so we went back and forth with that, and I told my wife now, I was like, you just need to go. I said, you don't need to go through none of this. I said, it's going to be a long, long time before I get out. I said, you it's there for me. I said, but nobody deserves to.
This is your
my present wife.
Your present wife.
Yes,
So when
Dina.
did you meet her?
I met
process
her
all of that?
in 2000. Oh Lord, y'all just really did that.
Dates aren't as important, but just.
I met her while I was in prison.
Okay, you were in prison.
I got out in 10, so I met her in 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I met her August of 2008.
Did you know her before?
No.
Oh, really?
No,
okay.
I met her on a chat line.
Okay.
Yeah. So we started talking. I called, and first thing out of my mouth was, look, it ain't like we can meet. I'm in the penitentiary. I said, I just need somebody to talk to. My family's shut me off. I don't have no contact with my family. Yeah. And by the grace of God, she did. She talked to me and continued to talk to me, and I convinced her after about 7-8 months, won't you come see me? So she started coming and seeing me, and so she came to visit every Saturday and Sunday until I did get out. I ended up I was in West Tennessee prison, I was in Middle Tennessee prisons, and I was in East Tennessee prisons. There's not a prison in Tennessee besides minimum security that I didn't go to because I was being moved so much because of the gang.
I think that's something that's kind of unknown is you move a lot.
Yeah, if you stay in trouble, they're moving you a bunch. They don't want you getting too much of a build or too much of a hold on any kind of prison. So I get out, I do that, I get caught. I'm back in, and they're looking at a life sentence. Well, we can't afford a lawyer. I mean, they're wanting like $150,000 just to take the case.
Did you get married in that little gap, or
no?
y'all
I
still
didn't
just kind of?
Yeah, we were still just dating then.
Still dating.
I got married when I got out this last time.
Okay.
So finally, my wife doing some stuff on the street, and a lawyer doing some stuff. They came to me and said, if you'll take 10 years right now, we'll sign and you do 10 years. I signed it real fast. I knew that's the best I was going to get. They weren't going to get no lower.
Yeah.
So they give me the 10 years. They sentenced me. I went downstairs. I was in the county jail. So then I get put on work release. I stayed in the county jail for 4 years. I was
county.
Yeah, in the county.
Oh.
But I left. I worked Monday. No, I worked Tuesday through Sunday. I left the jail at 5 a.m. and I'd come back around 7 p.m. My wife would pick me up and she would drop me off. And so I was working. I mean, I was going to work,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I still had time with my kids. I built a good relationship. That's where my relationship with my kids came from.
So you had a lot of
with
time
that
to
4
repair
years.
things.
Yes. And anything and everything we could do, we did. I stayed sober for pretty much that whole time until right there at the end. Some guys are inside that they were airing. So I was like, no, you got ways. Excuse me, you got ways to get us stuff, so we ain't suffering back here. I turned them down a couple of times, and they said, look, you really can't do that. Law says whatever. So I did. I got popped, and I came in. I was waiting to get brought back to the cell. I sat and I sat and I sat and I sat, and I was like, what in the world? And I hear about 90 pair of boots. I was like, oh. So they came in. I was like, where's the drugs at? So I didn't get no drugs. So they strip searched me, dry celled me. I didn't have no drugs. He said, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. He said, first thing smoking, you out of here. And I was. I went from Lawrence County Jail to Perry County Jail, stayed there for about 20-something days, and then Northwest Prison. So when I got it back to Northwest Prison, I was done with the brotherhood. I didn't want to be in no gang. I wouldn't that time. So I'd lost some of the hate that I had in my heart, and it wasn't hate for color, it was hate for people. I just didn't. I hated everybody. I just one certain person. I hated people. But the 4 years of the life that I had with my kids and stuff really showed me that you could be somebody.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah, there is
out
something.
there.
So I went back to prison and I hit Northwest in 2014. So from 2014 to 2018, I was back in the penitentiary. I dropped my flag. They beat me and broke my nose and did all kind of stuff, but they didn't stab me or nothing like that because they was more worried about if they came in to stab me, because I was bad. I was very, very mean. I was as people seen on the fly, I was involved with a couple of murders in prison, so I had a pretty decent rep in prison. Don't mess with him, because I always had knives and I was not scared to stab you. I didn't care to go to the hole, go to the max. So I walked up in the cell and I told them, I said, bring 3 of them. We'll go in here, get this over with. Y'all leave me alone. So they did.
Wow.
And they beat the mess out of me though. So I get out. April of 2018. My wife comes gets me. My in-laws, we're not married yet, but we're still. I know I'm going to marry her. I've done told her the date that we was getting married. So my in-laws never met me in their life. Let me move in their house.
Wow.
Yes, it was amazing. They are the 2 best people in the world.
That's grace, man.
It is. There's God all over this, y'all. If God didn't have His hand in this, I would have died 15 years ago. My wife still says today, God's got something really special for me, because, I've been stabbed. At 2016, I was stabbed 21 times. I got hit 5 times in the back of the head, 14 times across the chest, 1 time under my eye, and 1 time in my mouth.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Then got life flighted. Luckily, didn't hurt nothing. Didn't just a little pain for a little bit.
Little pain.
So
I can't even get my blood drawn without passing out.
Right.
yes.
He's over here just little pain.
So
What a miracle.
it really was. I should have died. I should have died several times.
So are you okay? Were you still trying to do the prison ministry at all? Was it?
No, I was shooting heroin about 3 times a
so
day.
that just wasn't even.
No.
That was the farthest thing for your mind.
It was over with. The prison, the
but
ministry.
There was never a time you were like, okay, something's happening here where I'm getting these deals, or I'm not getting killed. This isn't happening.
I was
I'm finding.
being told. I couldn't get it. My head couldn't think it. But my wife was like, Josh, there's no way you survive all these things without God needing you.
Right.
And I would still read and I would still pray, but as soon as I would get through reading my Bible, I'd pull up a shot of dope and I'd shoot dope. and then I get high and I do my prison thing. But that's enough on the. That's a work phone. That's crazy. We'll move past that because that was the darkness. So I get out. Well, ain't all the darkness.
No, yeah, you're good.
There's
good.
still some more.
Yeah.
I get out in 18. So from 18 to 19, from the whole year of 18, I'm a junkie. I'm chasing dope. I've convinced my wife either she could be with it or she could leave. She had her choice. She always said, she says, there's something there. She said, you are somebody that can be somebody. She said,
That's
see
incredible.
it if you can just get sober, Josh. So she
I
took
just want to give her a hug. I'm going to see her Sunday. Just be
You'll
like,
see her Sunday.
man.
I mean,
She was amazing, though. This lady is an angel to me. She has made me the man that I am today by no means. God has guided her to do things in my life to make me choose the right things. If that makes sense.
yeah, God had His hand on all
So
of that.
Yeah.
God got me to a rehab. Like I started off with, trying to OD, hallucinating, having all those seizures. I got to Oxford. That is the best treatment center for anybody because not only do I have an addiction, I also have mental issues. I have PTSD. I have some trauma and stuff that I went through when I was a kid. So I have a bunch of mental health issues going along with addiction.
I literally wrote down trauma right
Yeah,
here, that's usually...
They treated all of it, and it was so amazing.
Wow.
So I finished their program, and I came home. And my
Where's
wife
home
was,
at that point?
Home was in Alamo.
Okay.
Yeah, home was in Alamo, and that was in.
Not very long ago, right?
No. Yeah, I've been sober a little over 4 years.
Okay.
So I was married
18,
to
19,
Dana.
around
Yeah,
there, yeah.
I got married. Me and Dana got married 12, 21, 21. Yeah, 20. Yeah, 12, 21, 21.
Okay.
So we got married after I got sober.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But so I came back home to her mom and dad's house at Alamo. I told her, I said, look, I said that wasn't enough. I said 30 days. I said I don't feel confident enough that I can go to work and not get involved in that again.
Mm-hmm.
I said I'm gonna go to another facility. I said I found one. I know one I can go to, and I said I can stay there as long as I need to. And I said our insurance will cover it. I said it won't cost much. And she said you do whatever you need to do to get to where you need to be at.
Yeah.
So that's when I came to Turning Point.
Okay.
And I'm gonna plug Tracy Scott because Tracy was a doctor at Turning Point that's still my doctor to this day. He finally found the correct medicine to put me on to sort of tone me down a little bit and handle my anger and handle that stuff. So I stayed there for 90 days, and that's how I found SouthPoint. So Stacy Dodd, I'll even throw him in here because he's a big member of this church. He encouraged anybody at that facility to come to church down here every Sunday. There's a bus. They brung them. I wish I could remember the lady's name because she serves here.
Miss Debbie.
Miss Debbie. She drove the van.
We just had her.
Yep. She is an amazing, big-hearted lady. To take her time and do that for these guys and us. So I came to church. This was right before COVID. Came to church, and I had never been hit by the Holy Spirit as hard as I did when I walked in this church. I mean, the sermon was all about me. I felt like Craig was speaking directly at me.
It was planned
the whole time.
God's he's pretty good like that.
God is good like that.
Yeah.
God is amazing like that. The right time was there.
Yeah.
I left church. I was in a halfway house by this time. No, I was not. Went back. Then I moved into a halfway house over on Town and Country, which is right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so we come back a couple more times. I called my wife. I said, look, you have to come attend this church. I said, I want this church to be the deciding factor of where we live at.
Were you guys going to church in Alamo at all, or
No.
is that okay?
No, not at all.
So
this was me going to
church wasn't a thing for her either.
No, it was very new to her. Me going to church was really new to her.
Yeah.
Like, it was off the wall. Like, you're going to church.
She wanted to check your temperature. Like,
Yeah.
you still,
But so she actually got to come to one in-house service before COVID hit. And
Wow.
no way.
yeah, so she got to see one in-house service, and we come out, and she's like, you're right. She said, I feel it. She said, it's all over us. She said, I can tell God is around us. And I said, I'm telling you, we need to move here. I said, our life will be so much better here. She said, well, let's just keep. I said, they're fixing. That was the last service. I said, there's no more services. I said, everything's going to be online. I said, I don't know if you're going to get the
So
wow.
this is about March 2020, give or take. Yeah.
I said, I don't know if you're going to get the wow out of online service as you will from being in the auditorium with Craig.
Yeah.
So
But
we did.
you knew that was happening.
Yes, yes.
So you were still somewhat stepping out on faith of, I don't know what this looks like, but
Yep. So we did.
Then that was such a, because I'm not much of an online watcher. Like if I miss a service, like it's so hard to like.
it is so.
Like if I'm on vacation or something, like
to go back and watch
I hate going online and watching it. It's just not the same. There's nothing wrong with the online experience. You know, like Katie and I get to run sound for online, and it's very important. We understand the importance. There's a lot of people that join us online, and we're thank you for joining us online. But the experience is so different, and that's what I'm getting at, because you're not there with everybody. You're not there in a packed auditorium, and
the Holy
the music's
Spirit's not
going,
moving,
and
and
then
all
Craig
that
comes up.
worship
Yeah,
and
like
stuff comes on because
it's a whole thing, and so yeah, that's
we have
what a time.
The most amazing worship crew, Katie and them.
Yep.
I've never been in a church that can make the Holy Spirit move like they can. Excuse me. When they get up there and they get to singing and their songs going and everybody gets in and everybody's praising and they're worshiping and that really puts God in the room. I mean, it puts God on you. You can feel God with you. That and a lot of churches like that. I'm not bashing no churches. I'm just saying this one.
There's a lot of
feel it. You can tell God is with you. So we did the online thing, and she was like, you know what? She said, if you can find somewhere, she said, we'll do it. She worked for the state of Tennessee then, and at the point, she was working from home. So no big deal. I had a job. I worked at Terminal Medical. So just so happened, the halfway.
How hard was it for you to get that job?
I went to a temp service.
Okay.
So
they gave you an opportunity.
Yeah, they didn't do too much of a background check, nothing like that. But most of my felonies were already from 2000. Yeah, from 2000.
I'm gonna write Grace in big giant letters, because if that's not something for you, that's everything.
And it gets better. So I get the job at Trumo. I'm making $17.50, $18 an hour, something like that, driving a forklift. So we get up, we save up enough money, and just so happened the halfway house, the manager over the halfway house around here, they also had some rental properties. So I talked to him and said, look, I said, I have a wife. I said, I can't stay in here forever. I said, I need a house. He said, I'm finishing one right now. He said, I'll have it done in about 2 weeks. Do you want it? And I said, can I look at it first? Wow. So I went through and Dina wasn't able to come, so I went through on live and showed her the house, and she said, you know, it's better than what we have. She said, so go for it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I have a friend of mine. His name's Dustin Thompson. He was in. I met him through rehab, and he moved with us. He was my roommate, so me and him put all the money down and got the house. And I even offered another guy that was with us that come to church with us a lot. His name was Raymond, and charged him a little bit less rent and stuff so he could have a room so he could get out of that, because the halfway house situation wasn't helping him none. I was like, well, come to a home environment and see what that does. Well, all that led to was him sneaking into bed drinking whiskey. So we had to get him out of the house. Dustin stayed with us for about 2 years, and then my landlord was like, I need a house manager, so he went back to managing rehab houses. And so it was just me and my wife. So I worked for Instaff, which was the temp company that I worked for 6 months before Terumo offered me a job, because we were hard workers. I mean, we busted our butt for that company. We worked 6-7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. Wow. And we were one of the two of the top people in the building, and they offered us both a job at the same time. And with all the COVID restrictions, it got pushed off. It took me 9 months to get hired full time.
Yeah.
They run my background. My background popped up. The director at the time, I wish I could remember her name. She pulled me in the office and she said, "I really don't need to hire you because of your background." And I said, if you see how I work, I said, if you'll give me a chance to prove what I can do for you, I said, you'll never think about that background again. I said, I promise you. I said, I'll continue to do what I do. And she said, I'm gonna give you a shot. She said, I'm gonna let you keep your job.
That's awesome.
And so she did and hired me full time. Great benefits, good 401k. Everything was great. So we're coming to church. We're getting more involved. We're going to. I'm in a small group by this time. I'm in a Buttered Half small group. Y'all, best couples group in the world. And we eat great.
Butter halves.
Yep.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they're awesome.
Fun fact: I was in that group at one point.
Yes,
the
you
very beginning
Yep.
before you came in, and my schedule sucks, y'all. It just
Yeah,
changes
I
things.
think I actually
Yeah.
seen you and your wife at one before you had to sort of because of your nighttime thing.
Yeah.
I got joined in that. I serve on impressions. I serve with the baptism team now. I have a play the man. I'm in that group.
Yep.
So everything church says about joining these groups, God did not make us to be by ourselves.
That's right.
That's why He made Eve.
Yeah.
We need people.
Yeah.
So I got surrounded by all these positive people. I mean, Joseph Bernardini, Erica Bernardini, Jason Capps, Lisa Capps. There's just so many people that were surrounding me. Yeah, the 4Gs.
Yeah, the 4Gs. Yep.
Kim.
I love Hal.
Jason Capps' new wife, Kim Hartz. They were awesome. And just met two new couple, Joey and Candy. Guys, I'm sorry I forget your last name.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I don't remember anybody's name.
They are the two nicest people I've ever met in my life, guys.
That's awesome.
So I'm surrounded by all these, and that's the only friend group I have. So we come up on a decision. My middle son just got married, and they're also pregnant, and they're on us to move back. And I'm like, we'll pray about it. We'll check into it. Can't find no work down there. It would take a tremendous money loss, and then we'd still be paying the same amount of money for a place.
Right.
The property value is the same.
Yeah.
But the pay for the business is not. So I can't do it. And about a week after that happened, we came to church, and then Craig preached on companionship and having a friend, having your friend group. And your friend group is just as important as your family group. Yeah. So then we made the decision that we would be here for now. If it ever come a time to where we could move back to there, we would do that. But for right now, we know God wants us here.
Yeah.
I've swapped from Tarumo to a company called Employee Bridge through Mac McFarland. He's the online pastor here. He's a very, very great guy. Sorry, guys, I forgot you, Mac and Amy. I love you, too.
I think I listed them off in that.
They're
some
awesome.
Great people.
I'm surrounded by such awesome, supportive people.
Yeah. I'll take a second. Mac and Amy are so great. And they don't have to do some of the stuff they do. And they do stuff for my family as well. Mm-hmm. They love my kids like they're their own. And I love them to death. And I think sometimes, and we're talking about community right now, I think sometimes, I told my wife the other day, I think sometimes I become a horrible friend because I feel like sometimes maybe I don't have the time or I don't reach out to people like I should. Mm-hmm. Or like there's just some days where I just don't want to people at all,
Yes.
And she's like, well, why don't you, text so? I'm like, I just don't want to do it right now. Yeah. But Mac and Amy are some of them people that it don't matter what day or time.
Text them.
You can text them and they'll be there for you.
Sir.
So shout out to you guys. I love y'all so much.
Yes. I do too. Yeah, very well. And then also to my wife, guys, I have probably the most amazing wife in this world. They shouldn't.
I'm gonna give her a round of applause.
She should have left me years and years and years ago, and never even given me a chance. Nothing. She didn't. She stuck by my side, and she kept the same. She kept the same comment that she made from 2000, whatever it was. She said, "There's something in you. If I can just get you off drugs," she said, "you will be something special."
Yeah. Yeah.
I went from a temp to now I'm a staff performance manager at Volvo. I train forklift drivers and certify them. We got about 100 people that work there. I actually applied for a training position, operating training position for Volvo. That didn't come through for me, so I really thank God it's got me in this staffing. This staffing's new to me. Now, the forklift stuff, the training, I'm really, really good at that. I can do that, but the staffing side of it, I'm still learning. But I really think God might have put me there to talk to guys that's in the same walk of life that I was. Because the guys that come through in staffing service, most of them's on drugs, most of them's felonies, most of them's been locked up. They ain't got nothing. They ain't got nobody. So it gives me time to sort of break down. I share my story a lot with some of these guys, especially guys that pass the test and they come to work for us. I mean, I have a guy the other day. He was like, he said, I just did 12 years. I said, that's fine. I said, that was 12 years ago. I said, when they run your background, I said, they're going to run it for 7. I said, so 12, you got plenty of time. I said, the 12 years ain't going to come up. Because they don't check from when you're released. They check from when you got your conviction date. So he did. He got his job. He come, and he has been one of the best workers. And we talk a lot. And I've tried to get him to come to church here a couple of times. I have one of my coworkers. She has came to church here a couple of times. I wish her and her new husband and kids could get back here. I think this would be a very good place for them. This is just, SouthPoint is the best. I mean, I can't say that enough.
Yeah, it's different.
It saved my life. I'll believe that to the day I die.
So what was your date where you just knew, like, okay, this is it? Like, you said yes to Jesus. Like, it was like, okay, no, this is
okay. So I was saved. I got saved when I was young.
Okay.
So I didn't do the resave thing.
That's fine.
Resave thing again.
Yeah.
And that is a lie. I did. Because I
just got dunked like what, last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
So I was saved I was saved young.
Yeah.
So I went through all that bad stuff, and then got to come to church here. Got with Craig. Did a real stupid. I'm not without fault, guys. My son.
Everybody is.
My son was dealing with addiction, and I was trying to help him out of that addiction. I picked him up. He had some dope in his pocket, and the devil got a hold of him and said, "Look, let's do a line together, so you can." Cause when me and my dad used to use together, and I could tell him anything, and without judgment, without nothing. So in my head, that's what was said. So we did that. We did a line together, and I was ready to jump out the truck. It broke my heart so bad. I mean, I immediately came home, admitted to my wife, and I was like, "Look," I said, I don't know why I did it. I don't know what come over me. I said, but it'll never happen again. So that's when I got hold of Pastor Craig, and Craig counseled me a little bit, and I was like, "Look, I really think I want to get baptized and just wash all this off of me." I said, "Cause that's not who I want to be." I said, that was miserable. That was more miserable than being stabbed 21 times.
Wow.
It was bad. I felt.
You felt you failed.
I failed my son.
Yeah.
Which at the end, he's good. He's got a year sober. He's got a kid on the way. He's got his own place. He's got a beautiful wife that loves him, and they have a very, very good life. But yeah, I did. I failed him majorly at that time. And I know 2 of my kids listening, y'all didn't know nothing about that, and I apologize. We kept that secret for a reason. But this is a testimony.
Absolutely.
I want everybody, even if you fall, God, get back up. God's there. He's gonna put a hand down. He's gonna help you right back up. So yes, I did get resaved, I guess is what you would call it.
You just nailed it down.
2 weeks ago.
You just nailed it down.
Yep, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I knew my purpose was to serve God. Me and my wife both are so mad. Neither one of us we didn't get involved with Servolution this year because of work schedules and this and that. And I'm hoping Rolling Forks, if there's another trip that I can get to, because I know there's going to be several trips down there. Ain't it Rolling Forks?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. There's several trips going down there, so I'm gonna get into one of them.
That's okay.
I was on a list for that.
Yeah,
and,
that's okay. I wouldn't beat yourself up on that because I mean,
Absolutely.
you know,
yeah,
these opportunities in serving our community is always available, and
they are.
you know, and if you're serving on impressions, you're serving.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we started this thing out talking about the serve team, and we're talking about community. Communities have been a theme that we've talked about so much on this podcast.
Yes.
And I'm right there with you because I feel like there's people that I've met here at SouthPoint Church who have become my family and become just about closer than my sister comes. And, you know, my mom doesn't live nearby. She moved. And that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody else here is who I have.
And that's
you know,
our family is this church.
And I'm telling you guys, you don't know the impact on your life when you say yes and you serve and then you get involved, you join a group, you meet people. If you're coming every week and you're just coming to sit and then you bolt out right before the benediction and you hightail it down to the restaurant to go eat or whatever, you're missing out just a little bit longer. If you hang out a little bit longer, say hi to somebody, you might meet somebody that's going to change your life.
You will
forever.
You will meet
You
somebody
will.
that
Forever.
will. There's no
and
doubt you will meet somebody here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, sometimes you may have to be leaving. You may have to leave, but you're going to take that. You're going to take this with you. You know,
for the rest of your life.
Forever. So, man, that's so dang cool. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I wrote Grace. I told you I was going to write Grace. And I wrote Grace over here because I think that has just been this overlying theme of your life has been grace. Like God's like, no, not yet.
Yep.
And he kept you safe.
He did.
The whole way through. He was cutting you deals.
Yep.
Even when you were being dumb. And I think
I
everybody's had their dumb years.
Yes.
Some are longer than others. So Craig always talks about the dumb years.
Yeah, the dumb
that,
years.
that a lot of us go through.
Yeah, I had about 22 of them.
But man,
I also want to plug Flea into here because, guys, I had a lot of hatred on my body, and the man has covered it up and didn't charge me a penny.
Wow.
I was so grateful for that man to do that because every time I would see myself in the mirror, it was just a reflection of who I used to be.
Yeah.
And it had to go. I mean, it bothered me so bad. And but yeah, Flea and Natasha, they hooked me up. They got rid of it. It's still a work in process. I've still got a couple more things, but they got rid of the one main thing that I hated staring at. It just reminded me of all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so they laid me down. They even worked me in and got it done and did some extra stuff for me. So I love them guys too. They're amazing.
That's so kind.
It's this church. This church is amazing, guys.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a better one on the planet. Not for me, anyway.
Yeah.
This is my home till they put me in the ground.
Man, that I don't know if I have anything else I can add to what you've said. And everybody who has joined us recently, go back and start from the beginning. Check out this whole story. It's so good. We had a lot of people commenting on Facebook. Just a lot of people out here showing you some love. And you can get on there and look at the comments later if you want to.
I think one of your sons even.
Shane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that's my son.
Stacy's over here saying I'm straight up ugly crying. I've been holding it back the whole time, Stacy. I'm right there with you. I'm like, don't just keep calm. I'm sitting there over here trying to like hold it in because this is such an incredible story of grace, and I'm so happy. Again, I'm happy for you. I'm so glad that we've been able to connect and meet because you're one of the other guys that every Sunday you're right there.
Yep.
You're on the left side.
Yep.
And if I'm running sound, you're right there. And I know where you stand. And I'm happy for you and your wife. And man,
Glad to know you
God
guys.
is so good.
Yeah, I'm glad to know you. And you are amazing yourself, Katie. Everything
Absolutely.
that you do, running this, doing sound, doing drums, doing all. I mean,
Yeah, she's got a list.
Thank God for
she
all
just
that,
runs
man.
SouthPoint.
No.
But no, and Pastor
and-
Craig and Miss Patty, I love y'all to death, and I thank y'all for everything that y'all have shared with me, even the small conversations Craig has had with me off off mic, just
Yeah.
to the corners, one-on-one through emails. When we had I Dig My Church email, I used to blow that thing up.
Good.
And
It
I
might
have
still be
gotten
available.
so much. I have gotten so much great
Yeah.
feedback from him, and still to the day, if I'm struggling with something, I can find him because he is a very, very hard man to catch because everybody wants to catch
Yeah,
him.
there's usually a
Because,
line. There's usually a line for him.
I think he's got a.
But I tell you what, shout out to PC for talking to folks. I've been to other places where the pastors run and hide.
Yeah, they don't want to do that.
They don't want to, but shout out to PC for doing that.
Yes,
he will take his time
He
to do that.
mingles. He will speak with you. He'll shake your hand, fist bump you, whatever you need. He is a awesome God-gifted person, and I am truly believing that God just streams information through him to that guides our church.
Josh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for coming here telling your story. I hope we did it justice.
No, we did.
Yeah, okay, good. I know you were a little worried about it, but I think that everything came out great today. Thank you all who are joining us online right now. Thank you for joining us live.
Yes.
Hey, we'll be back soon with another great episode. Don't forget you can find us on all podcast streams and the SouthPoint YouTube channel. Plus the SouthPoint app where you can sign up for all the events and get caught up on everything we do around here. Plus we have a website. I'm getting back to it. www.southpoint.tv. Sign up for the men's conference coming up. That is that all the events? Are we like through the event season? Is this the
Man,
last
I
one?
hope so.
There's been so many events coming up. I'm like trying to remember which ones we're going through.
It's been so great,
Yeah,
but
it's
man,
been great. It's been so much fun. The marriage conference was fun. And we had Easter baptism. We had Springfest. We had Servolution, and men's conference is going to top off this serving season.
It's been a great first half of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. This not serving season, this event season.
Yes,
we're still serving, but yes, event season.
And guys, for real, guys, men's conference. You've got to come.
It's gonna be fun.
It is
hey,
awesome.
Before we get out, I like to ask everybody this question: what are you currently loving right now? And it can be anything: movies, TV shows, books, music, whatever, life, family time, whatever you got. What are you currently loving?
What am I currently loving? My wife.
Good answer.
My wife. She has. She is my rock. Whenever I want a trip, she's there. She'll pick me up.
Yeah.
And, her and God, they just, I'm her and
That's
God.
how it goes.
It's
a three-way.
It is.
deal.
That's what that whole communion is. And if I did not have her, I would not be sitting here. And that's I can prove that many times over. So yeah, I'm loving my wife.
Awesome. Katie, what are you loving?
Mine's going to be not near as deep. I am loving modern medicine.
Okay, yeah.
Man, those sinus cocktail shots will just whip you right back into shape.
I'll go with medicine, too.
I'm thankful for that, man.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm glad that you got that part of it straightened out because sometimes doctors just throw stuff at you and you're just taking whatever. But I'm glad.
My kids have seen me have 20, 25, 30 seizures. Back to back.
But grace.
Yeah.
And but God. There's that but God. There's that but.
And them 3 babies I got and them 2 grandbabies I got, I'm loving them.
Yeah.
Oh, I got 2 grandbabies. I got one that's a little over a year old, and I got one on the way, y'all. I'm so excited because I am sober and I can actually be a grandparent because I was a horrible dad. My kids are grown.
You get your redo.
I do. My kids love me, and I get time with my kids. I wish I got more time with a couple of them than I do, but they have their own lives, they have their own things going. But I have great kids that still love me. They talk to me. If I need to talk, I can text them. They're going to be there, and they know if they need anything, I'm going to be there. So that relationship's there, and I'm so happy to have that.
That's
Awesome. Hey, I'm loving this opportunity to sit down and talk to you. This is my favorite thing on the planet. This is why I got into doing this podcast. I used to listen to the podcast about people telling their stories. just like yours, and I always felt like, man, we have incredible people around here who can do the same thing. Even if we're just this little church right here in South Haven, Mississippi, which, by the way, we're the #1 podcast in South Haven.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to say that right now. And DeSoto County. I'm going to claim all the Memphis area,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know who's out there. But I'm loving this podcast, loving this opportunity, and I just want to say thank you, Josh.
Thank you for letting me
I'm
do
going
it.
to say thank you to your wife when I see her this Sunday.
Yes.
And, hey, sign up for the men's conference, everybody.
Yes,
That's all we
please
got
do.
today. We'll be back soon with another great episode. Bye.
See you guys.